This picture here is Derry Coffee. It's the Westmeath Offaly border, and it's a lovely bog. A lot of it's cut away and turned into farmland, but in them trees there you can just see the remains of a stone wall. That was the cottage of my great grandparents. That was their marital home, and they had 10 children in that cottage in 12 years. 9 of them survived. But this place is full of lovely old stories, some of them not so lovely, but a family of McCormicks came along in 1877, I think it was. It was somewhere between 1873 and 1877, and they bullied my grandfather, who was alone with his wife and 9 young infant children, out of that house and off the land. All them fields at the back, bog fields. He was a clockmaker, and he made sufficient money at his clockmaking business and made a farm out of this place. He had cattle and everything, and they drove him out of it. Bullied him. There was 5 or 6 adult sons and the mother and father, and eventually he had to retreat with his family a mile further back into the bog, over in Ringbog on the Westmeath side, and he built a peat hut there and reared his children there. They lived there for 63 years, the family. But the story about this particular place in the McCormicks is when I was 10-year-old, I used to come down here, and at first it was to watch the bog owls and the hares playing in the moonlight. It was a magnificent sight. It was a very beautiful bog, very well kept. But the old bogmen that still lived in the bog in the early 1970s they taught me things, and they taught me how to see things, and they told me stories about what they knew. And one of them stories was the McCormick fella that took that house and land off my father. The misfortune that apparently they reckoned it was the fairies. The fairies were very good to my great grandparents and protected them when the misfortune befell them. But when the McCormick's father, died, the tradition was in them days that they gave his clothes to an uncle or a brother or a cousin or somebody, and that close relation would wear the clothes to Mass the next Sunday. Or at worst, if they couldn't get to Mass for some reason, to cover it with holy water. So then that would mean that old McCormick would be able to walk the other world with his clothes on. But it didn't happen, because I used to bring all the girls and the lads used to come down with me on the bicycle, and I used to show them here an old naked ghost walking around that bog field at the back. You could see him of a summer's night. He'd walk in and out of the forestry. And that was the old McCormick fella, and the story was, they told me it was his uncle that was supposed to wear his clothes to Mass. And because when his wife looked out the window and she saw her husband walking around the field naked in the other world, she went to the uncle and she said, God blast you, she said, why didn't you go to Mass with Johnny's clothes on? And I said, he couldn't get out of the house. The fairies wouldn't let him. They pinned him to the bed. And that man now is, and you see, that's what happens when you cross these things. And plenty of people have seen this. I've brought them down, and they know all about it.